Welcome back to Southpaw Picks, and you're here with your host, Charles. And this is the UFC 270 post-fight show where we're going to react to the card, we're going to review our betting slips, and we're going to talk to you about the storylines going forward. And what a great card this was. Man, UFC 270 was awesome. You know, we saw Francis Ngannou in the main event, and we're going to start from the main event and go down, because to me, that's the story here. We're going to start in the main event. Francis wins by unanimous decision against Gane. Wow. Amazing to see. You know, to see Francis go through the first two rounds, and me even admittedly, someone who placed a bet on Francis, me admittedly saying, man, as the clock's ticking, I'm having more and more fear that Gane's going to win here. And I was wrong. And I was so wrong. You know, I had a friend that said, man, plus 1,200, Francis by decision. Let's do it, you know. I let him know that, you know, it's never happened and it probably wouldn't happen. And lo and behold, we got to see Francis initiate takedowns. Great top control. And I hear some people, the casual fans, like, oh, you know, it wasn't the most exciting fight. It doesn't matter. It was the fight needed. It was the game plan needed for Francis to win the fight. He wasn't going to win on his feet. He showed you a new wrinkle to his game. And the grappling, as much as there was, you know, technical errors here and there, he showed in a battle of wills that he wants it more. And that's what it came down to. Gane got the takedown late in the fifth and possibly could have turned the tide, considering it was 2-2 on most of the judges' scorecards going to the fifth. And Francis got the sweep and took top position and wins the fight. You know, amazing. And still, now, what's next for Francis? We don't know, right? What's next for Gane? We also don't know. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the year unfolds and how their paths are going to go going forward. Gane is still a very talented fighter, but this is your lesson. You know, it's very difficult to be undefeated in this sport, man. It's very difficult. And Gane just got his first loss. It doesn't mean he's trash. It doesn't mean he isn't going to bounce back from this. I think he's going to learn a lot from this and being in there with a champion like Francis. Very, very impressive. And still, Francis, the Predator Ngannou, continues his reign, defends his title, and what a champion. Moving on down, we got to talk about the flyweight fight. What a great matchup. What a great trilogy, man. I mean, at first I was a little, you know, kind of wanted to see Moreno versus Pantoja, but it didn't work out that way. We got Figueiredo, Moreno 3, and deservingly so. You know, I had bet against Figueiredo when he lost the belt to Brandon Moreno based on how he looked on the scale. I said, man, he looks horrible. I'm going to take the underdog here. Then, reverse roles a couple months later now, we're getting Figueiredo as the underdog, but he looks great on the scale. And as much as I knew this fight was going to be close, and it was close. It was 2-2 going into the fifth. And, well, I can't say it was 2-2 going into the fifth, because after you review the judges' scorecards, it looks like a couple judges already had Figueiredo up 3-1 going into the fifth. So even if Brandon Moreno really secured that across the board, he wouldn't have won. The fight was already decided in the fourth round. But I thought Figueiredo was the rightful winner. I thought it was very close. But if you think about the knockdowns and you think about some of the big moments, you got to give it to Figueiredo. It's hard to say no to a guy who got multiple knockdowns in a fight, in a close fight. And Figueiredo gets his belt back. He goes, he puts in the work. He shows you that he is a champion. And, you know, nothing against Moreno. I don't think there should be a fourth fight, honestly. I don't think there should be a fourth fight. Give this a little bit of time to breathe. Let these guys go fight other contenders. Figueiredo's a champ. He lost his belt and he got it back. Let him continue on. He showed great patience. Wasn't being as reckless. He showed a great gas tank, I thought. You know, he really didn't look that tired. And also just positionally staying focused. If it was fight ready, if it was Henry Cejudo in there, if it was the pressure of the Mexican crowd, you know, all on Brandon Moreno. I thought he fought like a champion as well. And he just didn't get the win tonight. It was close, but he didn't get the win tonight. And Figueiredo and moving on down the card, we got Miguel Pereira, unanimous decision, right? Great fight. I thought maybe could have been fight of the night. We were saying Andre Figueroa went out there and he was a real tough guy. As you can see, as the round started to progress, he started to really slow down and very action-packed. A lot of big shots, not too much exchanges. Mikel Pereira still found a way to be entertaining with the rolling thunder and the Superman punches. What a showman this guy is, and the beauty to this is he's winning, right? He's continuing to be entertaining and he's winning. So, you know, a lot of respect for Fiallo, right? On a debut, he really showed up, put the pressure on Pereira in that first round and stole the first round, but you know, fairly lost the rounds following that, round 2 and round 3. So big shout out to Michael Pereira, great win and a big spot, and yeah, you gotta love that guy. What an entertaining fighter. Moving on down, we got Said Nurmagomedov versus Cody Stamann, and the fight lasted only 46 seconds. And I was very disappointed in the MMA betting community. A lot of people are making a lot of claims that Cody Stamann was a good dog here. I said, I don't understand how, right? You guys saw my breakdowns. I don't get how you're going to immediately assume a guy from Dagestan can't wrestle. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Just because he's choosing to be a flowy striker and he's, you know, showing you a whole wide range of skills on the feet, it doesn't mean he can't go to the floor, right? It was a very lazy take by a lot of these analysts out here, and I do listen to a lot of other guys and I hear their opinions, but I was really set on Said Nurmagomedov. He was a play I gave out, very, very secure. I felt like it was a lock. I felt like it was the only real comfortable lock on the card, and the price is beautiful. Price is beautiful. And not too much to say here. 46 seconds. Cody Stamann has 3 losses in a row. I don't know where you go here. You know, you dropped to 19-5 now, and it's obvious that you can't beat the elite of the division, but you could beat the guys in the bottom 15 to 20. So we'll see how Cody Stamann's career plays out. This might be the last time we see him. Maybe not. Bantamweight division is stacked. Now, let's talk about this. The main card opener here. Michael Morales versus Trevin Giles. Now, I had a play on Trevin Giles here, and reluctantly so. Because as the fight was unfolding, he looked good. I thought he was really beating up the kid. I thought he had the kid on the ropes, to be honest, when he hit him with the early combination. But then he chose to clinch up. He threw him to the ground, and he was trying to go for the submission. And, you know, Michael Morales fought out of it. And then Trevin Giles approaches him and starts to pressure him and then walks into a cross. I mean, Trevin Giles, dude. I bet against him in his last fight. I thought this fight he would be able to make the adjustments coming down in weight, the strength, all that. He still goes out there and gets his clock cleaned by a guy, Michael Morales, who I think is very green. You know, maybe his potential is very high, but man, that was very green to see. He didn't look good in there. And he's someone I'll be looking to fade. Trevin Giles wasn't that guy. Trevin Giles, we don't know what's next for him, right? Coming off 2 knockout losses, he might just have to stick to being a police officer, because he had probably one of the biggest line movements I've seen in front of dogs becoming favorites. And we all missed out on some plus money on Michael Morales late. And that was a play I lost, siding with Trevin Giles, unfortunately. But Michael Morales, definitely the more promising guy. I'm glad he gets the win at the end of the day. And we can see what he'll eventually turn into. He's 22 years now, so, you know, the next fight he'll be better. The next fight he'll be better. And maybe we missed the opportunity to get him at some plus money here. Now, moving down to the prelims. Now, this was a tough fight for me to stomach because I had a lot invested in Barcelos as far as the parlays, not so much unit count. I really went low with units this week just based on some of the matchups. A lot of debuting guys and a lot of contender series guys, so I didn't really want to get too involved in the situations. But Victor Henry came out and looked phenomenal, right? You know, I looked at some tape on him, and to me, it just didn't seem like he could hang with Barcelos. And I said that in the breakdown. I said, I don't see what Victor Henry could do to Barcelos to beat him. Well, he basically threw 10 more strikes to every 10 strikes he threw, right? He was outpacing him. He was landing, outpacing him, the front kicks, the jabs. I thought Victor Henry had a masterful performance as a plus 400 underdog, completely dominating. Not dominating, like the fight was really close, but he was always a step ahead every round, and that was very impressive. So, my apologies to Victor Henry. Raoni Barcelos is no joke. It's not like he wasn't out there fighting. He was fighting, but Victor Henry was just a steps ahead of him throughout all the exchanges. Raoni couldn't even get the fight to the floor. You know, it was very telling to see that he was struggling to get the fight to the floor here. So Victor Henry, big shout out to him. He's legit. He's the real deal. And going forward, he's someone I'm going to have to look towards because, man, that was an impressive pace he put on Barcelos. And he wins the unanimous decision. Moving on down, Jack Maddalena. Like I said, I expected this to be a KO. KO in the first round. Pete Rodriguez actually looked a lot better than I expected him to look. But this Jack guy is really good, man. He was just firing the jab, firing the jab, firing the jab. And looked very impressive. And now it sucks because you're like, man, I was looking to pick him against Rolly Alvarez. And that fight dropped out. So he ends up beating the guy with 4 professional fights. And he gets that special W, right? That hello, welcome to the UFC debut W, and I thought he looked phenomenal, man. The shots were crisp. He looked poised. He didn't get out of position. This Jack Maddalena guy, 25 years old, rising star, right? Man, the UFC, they're never gonna run out of talent the way these kids are coming up, looking so well rounded. Tony Gravley versus Simon Oliveira. Tony Gravley is a decent fighter. He wins until he loses. He didn't make a mistake this night. Survived all the guillotine attempts, kept himself safe in the striking exchanges, and just completely dominated in the wrestling department. And it took a unanimous decision win. Not the most interesting fight in the sense that we kind of already knew the outcome. But just I personally didn't want to trust Gravley with my own money, just based on the numerous times that he makes mistakes when he's winning. So I let that play go aside, even though I did pick him for the predictions. And not too much to say there. Simon Oliveira is not that good of a fighter, in my opinion. He got the contract based on a split decision on a guy at short notice. It's very interesting how he even really got signed. I've seen Dana White say no to guys that should be in the UFC, right? But Tony Gravley did his job, right? Wins against a guy that really shouldn't be in there with him. Moving on down, we have 3 fights left here. We had Matt Fravola versus Genaro Valdez. Now, Matt Fravola was a good play. The chin is very suspect, and it even showed you that a little bit in that first round when he got caught, but he was able to reset and fight through and drop Genaro, I think 5 times in the first round. Valdez is just he's just a crazy guy, right? He just comes out there and he's having a firefight, and just not being defensively responsible. He loses his undefeated record, and like I said, some guys coming off the Contender Series are really not that good, and he was one of those guys. Matt Fravola really went out there and made that look clean. Finishes him off, KO in the first round. Probably should have been stopped way sooner. Mike Beltran let that fight go on, and he took a lot of damage he may have been able to avoid. But great win for Matt Fravola. He needed that one. And let's see where the steamroller keeps heading. I was actually surprised on just how young he was. I thought he was a bit of an older fighter here, but very young in his career. We'll see what Matt Fravola goes after this. Genaro Valdez, I'm sure they'll give you another fight. But honestly, I do expect him to get TKO'd and KO'd again. He really is living in the fire. It's either him or the other guy. And even if you don't take him to be the guy to get knocked out, I think fight not go decision going forward for Valdez is an important parlay piece. Moving on down the card, we got the 2 female fights of the night. We got Vanessa Demopolis and Silvana Gomez at strawweight, right? Look at my prediction. I told you, first round armbar. What did we see? First round armbar. I also said, too, later on that I've been battling back and forth here because Silvana can really pop. And we saw all of what was in my mind rattling around, and last minute I do take the armbar submission. So, Silvana showed you why she's in the UFC. Good power advantage. That right hand was nasty. But Vanessa Demopolis was out on the way down. Like, you can see her eyes out, and then she lands on the floor and almost wakes up from the drop and locks up that armbar. She's very good jiu-jitsu player off her back. We were wondering how she would get the fight to the ground. Well, there you go. She got knocked down, and Silvana went right into the guard and got herself armbars. That's 2 first-round armbars for Gomez. I don't know if she sticks around, but that shot, that one right hand was enough to me that they might want to see her again and probably put her in a situation where she, can fight another striker. Vanessa gets her first UFC W. Good on her. I've been seeing her in the LFA, seen her in the Contender Series, and even in the UFC prior to this. It's a good thing that her career is progressing, and like to see all these guys make it, right? You hear their stories and you get invested in them. You want to see them all make it. Now, the first fight of the prelims, very disappointed in myself. Early in the week, I said Jasmine, Jesuda Vicious, $100 on her. I'm gonna put a 1 unit stab to win 2. And you know, I watched the film, and then I was noticing like, yeah, you know, she's not the most skilled, and Kay Hansen might have it, but the size, I kind of look past the size advantage just based on the skill level. But you know, she maintained what she had to maintain, man. She held Kay Hansen in place, stayed safe. You know, didn't really shine on the feet. I feel like Kay Hansen probably should have, you know, struck more, used her boxing more, because that's where she was having her most success with the boxing. Instead of playing the jiu-jitsu on the ground, right? She was initiating most of these clinches. Kay Hansen was initiating most of the takedowns, and the size difference was evident. You know, maybe with a different game plan, Kay Hansen could have won it, but she didn't win it that night. Jasmine Jesuda Vicious won it that night. And, you know, very, very low-paced fight. Jasmine kind of, you know, just used her size, right? Counted all the takedowns, got on top, and held it down when she could. A lot of short elbows. And she gets the unanimous victory. No complaints at all. And what a great card it was. If I was handing out bonuses, obviously Saeed's got to get one. Where's the other one? I know they handed out a bonus to Vanessa. I mean, I guess you could give it to her, but I would have liked to see Jack Maddalena get that bonus instead of Vanessa. But, you know, the UFC's going to do what they got to do. If you're a girl and you finish a fight, you're going to get a bonus. That's how it works around here. But UFC 270 was a great, great card. And I'm going to post here the 2 bet slips that I had given out in the week. Do not hit, actually. We lose with Barcelos. We lose with Kay Hansen. We lose with Trevin Giles, right? Saeed hung in there. Francis by KO does not hit. I ended up making a play, though, on which I'll show you here on the screen. I made a play on the under 1.5 in the Jack Maddalena fight. I put 1 unit on that, and then towards the fight leading up to it, I took a stab on Davison Figueiredo. He blew up to a plus 170. I said, listen, as much as I love Moreno, plus 170, I can't walk away from that. Put 1 unit on there to win 1.7 units. So overall, you know, I think we just sneak past the green and get out of the red here, but we'll calculate the total in the bottom. And we did great for predictions, right? I think I went, what? Looking down here, I went 8-3, right? Had I stuck to my predictions earlier in the week in the first breakdown, we would have been absolutely perfect, right? Excluding the fights that didn't happen. So, like we said, we're doing great here in Southpaw Picks. If you've been following here with us, you've definitely been having great results on your fight card picks. But this is it for now. We have a week off next week, so I hope you enjoy the show. And even though there will be a week off, I think I'll be doing the Bellator breakdown for you guys and having that content out. But like I said, thank you for showing up to Southpaw Picks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.